Step one is to remove the manual door lock tab. You pull out this tab and then it just pulls up. That tab kind of just holds it in place. Okay, then there's a little trim piece behind here. Just pop that out, it's not held in by anything. And behind that cover there's a Phillips screw. Undo that. Take it out. Then you got to pry around the outside of the door. There's a bunch of clips. You can get tools. Plastic ones are better. I have this metal one. If you can reach in there, pry it out, you might be able to see where some of those are. You're probably going to break a few, but you basically have to pry around the entire outside of the door, the bottom, and then up the other side, and pry the panel away from the body of the door. Eventually you'll get it off. Out and up. Disconnect all the electrical connectors. Okay, now we take off this weather panel to get access to the window regulator. These white clips, you push the middle in, and then it'll pop out without breaking. Ask me how I learned that. Now there are two Torx screws, T25s here and here. Take those out. Finally unplug the door module. These plugs down here. Get rid of those wires, then we'll be able to pull the door away, the door panel away. These ones can be a bit tricky because you have to pull this back and then go down at the same time. Pull this back and push down. And finally this one. The wires are held in with a few little clips. Just separate them to the side. And pull the panel away. And there's our motor on our regulator. Okay, now if the window regulator is not working, you should be able to move the window up and down by hand. So there's a little holder that holds the window and grips onto it to move it up and down. So we need to loosen this. And then there's another one back here which is a bit awkward to get at, but I think you can get at it from that side with a 10 millimeter. These are 10 millimeter nuts, 10 millimeter wrench, or maybe a small socket. You don't have to take these out, just loosen them a couple turns, just so the window is free to pop out of the channel. Okay, now I'm going to put the window up just by hand. Up and out of the way. You can see it's basically aligned to the back channel, and there's a gap at the front. Put the window all the way up so we have room to remove the regulator. Now I've taped the window up so it doesn't fall. You can also use a suction cup. If you have a suction cup, you could put it on the lower part of the window, but I don't, so I use tape. Now, just let that go down to the bottom for now. There's 3 bolts that hold this regulator in, one at the top here, and then 2 at the bottom. The 10 millimeter nuts you remove, then we should be able to pull the regulator out. And the top one. now, like a puzzle, you should be able to pop this out. We'll slide it toward the front like that, and out. There. Now, we're swapping the motor over to the new regulator. So there's 1, 2, 3 Torx. I believe they're T30 screws. I only have T25, but these aren't very tight, so this is working just fine. Okay, so we'll just there's the new regulator. Just line up the holes. Pop that in there. Okay, once you get that popped in, put these Torx screws back in. My sloppy T25, that's okay. They weren't super tight to begin with, so don't over tighten them. You just want them snug enough so they don't come out. Something like that. And it's a puzzle. Just got to rotate it back up and get it back mounted. And the 3 nuts can go back on. And tightened. Quite a long one. Okay, put the plug back in. Now we can take our tape off and lower the window down into the channel here. Make sure both of these screws are loose so that the window can fall into the channel. And of course the other one, which will reach with a wrench. Gotta make sure the window's fully seated in there before you tighten the nuts back up. Alright, now I'm just going to plug the door module back in, and just before I put it back together, see if it works. Alright. Alright, installation, just the reverse of removal. Pop this in first, put our Torx screws back in here and here. Now we can go around with our white clips. Now the white clips, you actually have to push them out the other way. These are reusable. Push them out the other way like that. And then the clip can go in, and then you push the middle tab to lock it. It's a really good design. So we'll do that all the way around. Then we can put the door panel back on. Okay, now we'll hang the panel back on. So we'll have to plug that plug back in and then line up all the holes, including this alignment hole. Now, this one broke on the door panel. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We'll get one in there. Plus there's all these other panels. Plus the door panel hangs on this top ledge here. So it's pretty solid, I think. I'm not going to worry about the piece that broke or some of the clips that broke. Just going to lift it up and line it up. This might take you a couple tries, but basically you're just lining up all the clips. Okay, it's not quite on yet. It's hanging on the top rail here. This is through, that's good. And then basically it's just a matter of lining up the clips, including that one metal, and you won't be able to see it, but there's the one metal clip, or two. I broke one of mine, but that's in there, it's gonna go in. And then all the other little clips, you can kind of see some of them. And you're just gonna pop them in all the way around. Just keep working it. And once those are all popped in, and we'll put our Phillips screw back in here, the trim piece back in, and that's it. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this helps you fix your window regulator or power window motor on a 2000 to 2011 Cadillac Deville. $95 a mountain.